Do you want to obtain the perfect plan to keep a bowl of chili from ruining your most prized relationship? Well, then you better stick around for this episode of Sound Advice by Glen to learn just how. Hello all, I'm Glen Richards, and thanks for tuning in. On this show, we take calls from those needing advice. All are welcome to call in with their questions. And I, as an HR associate at a large synthetic rubber company, have my fair share of experience in guiding and advising. However, it is here on my lunch break that I get to help people with whatever they need. A place where my advice is just that, my advice, unmonitored by that of Big Rubber. Nevertheless, I feel I must divulge a quick disclaimer as I'm not a licensed therapist or counselor, so while it's likely that I'm required to make such a statement, I want to assure you that it has no bearing on my ability to provide sound advice. Alright, well before we get on with taking a call, I want to give a special tip of the proverbial hat to a one Mr. Douglas Courtwright, who is currently off camera and manning all the technical behind-the-scenes stuff that I can't be bothered with while providing sound advice to needy souls. Okay, with all that being said, Douglas, are we ready to take a call? And I'm getting a thumbs up from Douglas right now. All right, here we go. Hello, thanks for calling Sound Advice by Glen. Who do we have on the line?
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air. Thanks for calling Sound Advice by Glen. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
My name's Carl Button.
Well, hello, Carl. Thanks for calling into the show this afternoon. How can I help you?
Hi there, Glen. Thanks for taking my call. I can't believe I got on.
Yes, you are on, and we are live. So why don't you go ahead and start by telling me what area of your life you're looking for some sound advice on today?
So my mother-in-law is coming in to visit this weekend.
Ah, yes, the challenge of challenges. Go on.
Yeah, well, you see, we actually get along okay. My house is big enough to where she doesn't cramp my style, and she even likes to play pinochle, which I'm a huge fan of, so it's not like it's that bad when she's in town.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that, though I sense a big old ugly butt coming my way.
Yeah, well, it's true. We get along all right, but...
And there it is.
It all just goes wrong when she makes her famous chili. And I know you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes right now.
Yeah, I picked up on the sarcasm there.
Well, at any rate, this chili's no good at all. But my wife grew up on it, so it's all she knows, and she thinks it's great, she loves it, and the kids haven't had anything else. They've only had Gammy's chili, so they're in the same boat as my wife. But for everyone out there who's like me, who's tasted real legitimate chili, it's just terrible. Okay,
well, I get the sense that you don't like the chili, but I have to admit, it's a bit surprising to hear that your wife and kids all think it's great. Because one would think that if it is truly terrible, at least one of them would share your opinion, even if chili sheltered their whole life.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't understand how anyone could like it. But they do. And I'm stuck eating it with all of them. I'm seriously holding back the vomit with every bite.
Okay, Carl, let's calm down a bit. Help me understand. What's so bad about this chili? Is it that it's from a can? Maybe you're a chili elitist and require it to be made from scratch. You know, not everyone has time to make good chili from scratch.
Oh man, I wish it was from a can. No, she makes it from scratch, and that's the problem.
Not enough salt?
Maybe. I don't know if that's the case. It's completely overshadowed by a much bigger problem.
Ah, okay. So I'm getting the sense that we're talking about an ingredient issue here.
Well, yes, and most of the ingredients are pretty standard stuff. You know, you got your ground beef, your beans, your tomato paste, garlic, onions, and so on.
Well, you sure got my taste buds percolating. And I'm not hearing a problem here so far.
Okay, yeah, but then it all goes wrong with her special ingredient. Again, I'm using air quotes there.
Yeah, I picked up on that. So what is the fatal ingredient?
It's grape juice. She pours in a bottle of grape juice as the liquid instead of something like beef broth.
Ooh, yeah, that has to be a bit of a shock to the taste buds.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who could ever think that all those wonderful ingredients could ever possibly pair well with some run-of-the-mill grape juice?
Well, the majority of your family, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know how I got in this mess.
Okay, well now at least I understand the source of your disgust. So maybe on the next chili night you could try to claim that you aren't hungry or something. After all, something like a stomach ache isn't all that uncommon.
I guess I could maybe give away with that once, but I can't say that I have a stomach ache every time it's chili night.
Well, maybe. I guess it just depends on how much they pay attention to you.
And it's not like they eat all the chili in one sitting. I mean, I'd have to fake a stomach ache for lunch, because they're always scarfing it down for leftovers at lunchtime.
All right, so a stomach ache isn't going to be an option. Okay. How about adding a bit of salt and pepper to counteract the sweetness from the grape juice?
Nope, not an option. I went for the salt once, and my mother-in-law got pretty offended. And of course, my wife doesn't understand why anyone would want to modify the flavor of the chili. They looked at me like I had like a foot growing out of my head or something. So I can't do that.
Interesting.
I mean, they literally remove the salt and pepper from the table when it's chili night.
Really?
Yeah, I guess my grabbing of the salt that one time was just too offensive and mind-boggling for them, so they just completely remove it as an option. It's not even there.
Well, Carl, I'm going to be straight with you. You've got yourself a tough situation.
Yeah, tell me about it. So what am I going to do? I can't take another bite of the stinking chili. If I do, I'm probably going to barf, and that has to be way more offensive than adding salt.
All right. Let's just calm down, Carl. I think I've got just a solution to remedy this saccharine stew.
Okay, great. I'm dying to get out of this.
All right. So the next time it's chili night, you're going to want to make sure you're wearing a long sleeve shirt. Next, and this is something you'll need to plan out ahead of time, you'll need to get a balloon. A water balloon should do the trick just fine.
Okay.
But instead of filling it with water, you're going to want to fill it with some salt, lime juice, and garlic pepper.
Okay.
These are going to be the perfect ingredients to counteract the sweetness and the cheapness of this grape juice. However, it's important that you don't tie off the end of the balloon. I'd actually suggest you put something like a paper clip on the end to keep it from leaking, because you obviously don't want the balloon to leak, but you will need to be able to quickly open it when the time comes. Next, you'll go ahead and insert the balloon into your sleeve. I'd recommend using the sleeve of the hand to which you hold your spoon with. Now, of course, it's of the highest importance that you ensure the end of the balloon is pointed toward the sleeve opening, because if you put it in the other way around, not only are you going to have a heck of a time accessing the end of the balloon when it's time, but you are likely going to end up with a sleeve full of seasoned citrus juice. And you don't want that. Are you still with me, Carl? I really hope you're getting all this.
I'm still here. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around everything you're saying.
Well, yeah, I understand. It's probably more of a complex solution than you were anticipating when you called. But I can tell this is a delicate situation that requires a complex solution, not something simple and cheap.
Okay, but I feel like a paper clip, though, it could really be hard to remove on and off from a balloon end. I think that would be tough.
Well, if you need to, you can always apply a bit of olive oil to the paperclip ahead of time to make sure that it slides on and off with the utmost of ease.
Okay.
So once you've got the balloon filled up with the counteracting ingredients, an oiled up paperclip on the end, and have it inserted into your sleeve, balloon end pointing out, you are ready to go.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir. Now all you need to do is sit down to your next bowl of grape juice chili and know that you are only moments away from making it all better.
So just pour it in? I don't know.
Well, listen, Carl, the suggestion I gave you for the ingredients was from the perspective of a more refined palate. But you are more than welcome to play around with the ingredients and figure out what works best for the palate you're working with in order to counteract the foul taste.
No, it's not that. I mean, yeah, maybe just lemon juice and salt.
And garlic pepper.
But all that aside, I'm really trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to pour it in from my sleeve without them noticing. It sounds really complicated. I'm just worried I'm going to mess it up.
Well, Carl, you're just going to have to practice in front of a mirror until you get it right. I would suggest doing it late at night when everyone's asleep. That way, you'll remove the chance of getting caught.
Well, I guess I could try. I don't know. The only mirror I'd have access to late at night in the house is a mirror we have in front of our toilet.
That's perfect. You'll pull up a TV tray or some other stand and practice right there. Try filling the balloon with milk and work with pouring into a bowl of cereal until the movements become a second nature to you and you won't even be thinking about it.
Well, I guess I could give that a try. I mean, after all, I really do like cereal.
Perfect. I'm confident you can get this down, Carl.
I don't know. They watch me awfully close, though, when I'm eating the chili. I think that salt incident has them on high alert or something. It's like they're always watching me to take that first bite. It's like they want to see my reaction. But I just can't take another bite without vomiting. I just can't.
Well, Carl, you're just going to have to figure out a way to draw their attention to something else so you can quickly empty the balloon contents before they can see you do it.
I don't know. I think they'll see right through any distraction I could come up with.
Okay, well, I can't think of everything for you, Carl, but it would have to be a big enough distraction to make them involuntarily look away from you, which would give you just the window you need to get the job done.
But like what, though?
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I guess you could take another balloon, fill this one with helium, and then tie it to a string. And then tie that string, the other end of the string, to something like secure, like a chair.
All right.
Next, just before dinner, you're going to want to place a candle below the balloon, close to the string, but not too close. Then you'll go ahead and light the candle and walk away to dinner.
Okay, yeah.
In a few minutes, the heat from the candle is going to most certainly pop the balloon, and that's the sound that will most definitely take everyone's attention off of you. And it's at that point you need to quickly do the deed. This is why you'll want to be doing all that late-night toilet practicing we discussed. You'll need to be as quick as a desert hare.
Gosh, this ruse sounds like it's going to take an awful lot of coordination.
All the good ones do.
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, thanks again for calling in today, Carl, and trusting me to help you with your problem.
Well, I'm not totally sure that it's going to be the...
All right, another satisfied caller, if I do say so myself. Always such a joy and a pleasure to be able to give someone such sound advice. Well, that's all I've got time for today, friends. Thanks again for stopping by and taking in some sound advice a la Glen. Be sure to like this video if you found it helpful, and make sure you subscribe in order to be kept up to date with all my latest videos. Let me know in the comments if you found this advice to be as helpful as Carl did. Until next time, I'm Glen Richards.